In this video, I want to give you a quick demo of using the Import-Export Wizard. Now, what I want to show you here is, first of all, I am going to open the SQL Server Management Studio and show you what I want to use here. I'm going to use the Import-Export Wizard to basically extract the data out of the customers table in AdventureWorks DW 2012, and I'm going to send that out to a text file on the desktop. So notice that if I go into AdventureWorks DW 2012 and look at my tables, and if I look at the DIM customer table, I'll right click on that, choose 1000 rows, just so you can look into it and see what's going on here. And I'm going to show you how very easy it is to grab this data right here and throw all this data into a text file, comma separated text file, out on the desktop. So I'm going to close that down. That's what we're going to copy. Now I will click on Start, go to All Programs, go into SQL Server 2012 folder, and I'm going to grab the Import Export Data 64-bit, and this will open up a little splash screen for the SQL Server 2012 Import and Export Wizard. Now notice I can click here to avoid this splash screen in the future, but I'll just click Next for now. Now this thing's going to look to see if it sees my servers and data source information. It's going to ask me about data sources. Notice it sees my server here, the local. I could just type the name of my SQL server, in my case VTCSP. But notice my data source options here. The .NET Framework provider for ODBC, Oracle, SQL Server. I can grab data out of a flat file, like a text file, comma separated values, whatever. Then OLADB for analysis services for SQL Server, or the SQL native client. And I'll just stick with that native client there. Now, what database do I want to use off this server? Well, here's the list of them, and I'll choose AdventureWorks DW 2012, and that's my data source. Next, I'm going to choose, notice right up here, it's going to give me the opportunity to choose a destination. Now my destination is going to be a flat file destination, and well, I'm going to browse out to my desktop. I'll click desktop here, and I'll give it a file name. We'll just call it VTC test export, and I'll click open here, and that will kind of create the background information for creating that file later. And I'll leave everything as it is. Then I'll click next, and now it says specify a table, copy, or query. In other words, I can just dump all the data from a table or a view, or I can write a SQL query to determine what data I want to pull out. I'll make it easy and just leave it as copy data from one or more tables or view. Then I'll hit next. Now it says select the source table. All right, so the source table, I'm going to grab the dimension customer table, and notice my row delimiter, my column delimiter. Notice I can get a preview to see. I'll look into the DIM customer table to see if that's what I really want, and I do. I'll take that and I'll OK that, and then I can edit my mappings, and I can change, let me click that, I can change the source and destinations if I would like. Notice I can get drop downs. I'll just cancel that. But anyway, I've set it all up now. What's left, I can save the SSIS package, come back and edit it later in Data Tools, but for now I'll just run this immediately. It's telling me this is what you're going to do. I'll click Finish, and it will start to go down through, and hopefully we'll see green checks on most everything. Notice how quickly it ran, and it just moved 18,484 rows out into that text file. So I'll close this. Notice here is my VTC test export flat file. Double click it, and notice the data is going to pop in. Notice this first row are my column names, all right, and then everything else is comma separated. Notice the comma separated values here, and these just go all the way across. Okay, so that's how quick. Now I could just as easily take this data from a flat file, create a table in SQL Server just by reversing the actions there. So this is something you may want to go play with yourself, but the Import Export Wizard is an excellent tool when you just want to go grab some data, move it somewhere, and not do any modifications along the way. Just grab it here, put it there, or grab it there, put it here, whatever you want to do. Okay, so real quick, real simple demo. If you can get your head around that, you now know when you'd want to use the import-export wizard. And again, what you want to watch for on the exam, whenever you don't need to transform or work with the data in any way, you just want to pull it out, select it, move it somewhere else.